Go look at the meat case next time you're at the store. Boneless, skinless chicken breast, $4-5 a pound. Right below it, a whole chicken, $1.50 a pound, maybe less on sale. Same bird, same aisle. And most people walk right past the whole one because they don't know what to do with it. I do. My grandmother fed 7 people off one chicken and made it last most of a week, and I've been doing a version of the same thing my whole married life. 12 meals from one $8 bird. I'm not going to pad the count with garnishes and pretend. Either I'll count them out honest and you can check my math. Here's the whole method in one breath, and then we'll walk through it slow. You roast the bird once. You eat 2 dinners off the meat. You pick the carcass clean, and that picked meat becomes 4 more meals. Then the bones, the part most people throw in the trash. The bones make a pot of stock, and that stock carries you through 6 more. 12. 1 chicken. Let's go. First, buy the right bird. Whole chicken, the bigger the better, because the price per pound barely moves, but the meat sure does. A 5-6 pound bird if you can find one. Skip anything labeled pre-seasoned or pre-brined. You're paying chicken prices for salt water they pumped into it. Plain bird. That's it. Roast it simple. Salt inside and out. A little pepper, hot oven, about an hour and change until the leg wiggles loose and the juice runs clear when you poke the thigh. You don't need a recipe with 14 ingredients. You need salt, heat, and time. Everything fancy they've told you about roasting a chicken is mostly to sell cookbooks. Meal 1 is roast chicken night. Legs and thighs, whichever your family fights over, potatoes, and a vegetable alongside. Here's the discipline, and this is where most people lose the whole game before it starts. You serve the dark meat and maybe 1 breast. You do not put the whole bird on the table. A whole bird on the table gets eaten like a whole bird. Serve portions, put the rest away, and nobody goes hungry. They just don't graze it down to nothing while they're talking. Meal 2, the next night, is the other breast. Slice it, warm it in a pan with a little butter, put it over rice or in a hot sandwich with gravy. That's a full second dinner, and it took you 10 minutes. Now, the part that separates the people who get 4 meals from the people who get 12. When dinner's done, you don't wrap that carcass in foil and shove it in the fridge to slowly dry out and get thrown away Thursday. You sit down that same evening while it's still warm, it comes off easier warm, and you pick it. Every bit of meat off that frame. The oysters on the back, the 2 best bites on the whole bird. Most people have never even had them because they're on the part that goes in the trash. The scraps along the ribs, the wing meat, the shreds under the skin. You'll get 2-3 cups of picked meat off a bird people would have called finished. Takes 15 minutes with your hands and something on the radio. That picked meat goes in a container. The bones and the skin go in a bag in the freezer. Nothing hits the trash yet. Nothing. Now that picked meat is 4 meals, because shredded chicken doesn't need to be the star. It needs to be the seasoning. That's the old way of thinking about meat, and it's the whole trick. Meat flavors the dish fills the people. Meal 3, chicken and rice skillet. Onion and fat, rice, a cup of that meat, whatever vegetable is going soft in your crisper drawer. 1 pan feeds 4. Meal 4, pot pie. And before you groan, a pot pie is gravy, vegetables, a fistful of chicken, and a crust. If crust scares you, a biscuit dough dropped on top does the same job and nobody's ever complained. Half a cup of meat disappears into it, and everyone thinks they ate a chicken dinner. Meal 5, chicken salad. The last cup of meat, chopped fine, mayonnaise, celery, an apple if you've got one. That's lunches, sandwiches for the family, and I count a round of lunches as a meal because it is one. It's a meal you'd otherwise have bought. Meal 6, quesadillas or a chicken and cheese melt, whatever your house calls it. The scrap's too small for anything else. The shreds at the bottom of the container, with cheese in a tortilla or between bread in a hot pan. Cheese is doing half the work. Chicken's doing the other half. Kids never notice there's barely any meat in there. That's 6 meals and we haven't touched the bones yet. By the way, this whole way of stretching one thing into a week of eating, I've got a book full of it. Every method I use to run this house for less, written down in one place. It's on my website, links right below the video. Go get it if you want it. I won't bring it up again. All right, the bones. This is where the $8 chicken laps the $12 tray of boneless breasts, because the tray gives you nothing after the meat's gone, and the bird is just getting started. Get that bag out of the freezer. Bones, skin, all of it, into your biggest pot. Cover it with cold water, cold, not hot. And here's the why in plain words. Starting cold lets everything let go of what it's holding slowly, and you get a clearer, richer pot. Throw in an onion cut in half, skin, and all the skin puts color in the stock, a carrot, a stalk of celery if you have it, and don't buy anything special for this. The ends and peels you'd normally throw out are exactly right. I keep a bag in the freezer just for onion ends and carrot peels, and it fills itself. Bring it almost to a boil, then turn it down to where it's barely moving. A lazy bubble here and there. Not a rolling boil, a hard boil beats all the fat through the liquid and turns it cloudy and greasy tasting. Low and slow, lid cracked, and walk away. 3 hours minimum. All afternoon is better. Your house will smell like somebody who knows what they're doing lives there. What comes off those bones is the thing they sell you in cartons for $3, $4 a quart. And I want you to actually read one of those cartons sometime. Water, flavoring, and a teaspoon's worth of chicken. Yours will be so rich it turns to jelly in the fridge. The jelly is everything good that was in those bones, and it's exactly what the carton stuff doesn't have. When your stock jiggles cold, you did it right. Strain it, let it cool, skim the fat off the top, and don't you dare throw that fat away. I'll get to it. You'll have 3, 4 quarts of real stock. In the fridge, it keeps a week. In the freezer, months. I freeze some in a muffin tin, so I've got small portions for gravy without thawing a whole quart. Now let's count the rest of our 12. Meal 7. Chicken noodle soup. And this is the best eating of the whole bird, which is why I save the bones for last. Stock, a handful of noodles, carrot, celery, whatever tiny bits of meat came loose in the pot. This soup will ruin the canned stuff for you forever. The canned stuff was already ruined, you just didn't have anything to compare it to. Meal 8. Chicken and dumplings. My grandmother's favorite, because dumplings are flour, fat, and milk pennies floated on that stock until they're fat and tender. It eats like the richest meal of the week, and there's hardly any chicken in it at all. That was the whole point of the dish. It was invented by women who had 1 chicken and 8 people. Meal 9. Bean soup. A pound of dried beans is about $2, and it's a mountain of food. But beans cooked in plain water taste like plain water. Beans cooked in chicken stock taste like Sunday. A quart of stock, a pound of beans, an onion. That pot is 2 dinners in most houses, but I'll only count it once. I said I'd be honest. Meal 10. Rice or potato soup night. Rice simmered in stock instead of water isn't a side dish anymore. Add a vegetable and it's supper. Same with a potato soup built on stock. This is the quiet workhorse meal. Nobody photographs it, everybody finishes it. Meal 11. Gravy night. A quart of stock makes a lot of real gravy fat. Flour, stock, whisk, and real gravy over biscuits, or over mashed potatoes, or over toast the way they fed farmhands, is a supper. It has been a supper for 200 years of hardworking people. Those little jars of gravy at the store are $4 and taste like the jar. And meal 12 the fat, that golden layer you skimmed off the cold stock. That's schmaltz, that's what your great-grandmother fried in before anybody sold her a bottle of oil, and it is the best tasting cooking fat you will ever have for free. Potatoes fried in chicken fat with onions is a meal I would serve company, and the whole thing cost me the potatoes. They sell rendered chicken fat in specialty stores now, by the way, little jars, real money. You just made it by accident. 12, count them back. Roast dinner, second dinner off the breast, the skillet, the pot pie, the chicken salad lunches, the quesadillas, the noodle soup, the dumplings, the bean soup, the rice supper, the gravy night, the fried potatoes and schmaltz. 1 bird, $8. And I didn't count the bean pot twice or call a garnish a meal. Now, will every one of those feed a crowd of teenagers till they're stuffed on chicken alone? No, and I won't pretend it will. The bird is doing less of the lifting as the week goes on, and the rice and beans and flour are doing more. That's not a flaw in the method. That is the method. Meat as flavor, cheap staples as the fill. It's how every farmhouse in this country ate for generations, and nobody at those tables felt poor. They felt fed. Do the money before we finish, because it matters. $8 of chicken, maybe 6 or 7 more in rice, beans, flour, noodles, and vegetables across the week. Call it $15, and it touched 12 meals. Now, price those same 12 meals the way the store wants you to buy them. Trays of boneless breast, cartons of stock, jars of gravy, a rotisserie bird that's picked over by Tuesday, a frozen pot pie apiece. You're looking at $60, $70, easy. Same food, worse food, honestly. And here's why nobody taught you this. There's no bad guy in a back room. It's just arithmetic on their side of the register. When they cut a chicken apart, they charge you 3 times more per pound for the breast than for the bird it came off of. You're paying somebody a wage to do 15 minutes of knife work every week, forever. The bones they cut away, they sell back to you as broth, which is mostly water in a nice carton. The fat gets sold to somebody else. A whole chicken is 1 sale. A cut-up chicken is 5 sales. The store didn't hide the whole bird from you. They just put all the advertising money behind the parts, and after a generation or two, people forgot the bird was ever one thing. Your grandmother knew. Somewhere between her and you, the knife work got outsourced and the knowledge went with it. You can have it back this weekend. Here's your first step, and it's only one. Buy 1 whole chicken. Don't worry about all 12 meals your first time. Roast it, eat 2 dinners, and make the stock. That's it. If all you ever do is stop throwing bones away, you've already beat the carton people, and the rest of the method will pull you along on its own. Because once there's real stock in your fridge, meals start suggesting themselves. Tell me in the comments, what did your family do with the carcass growing up? Was there somebody in your house who picked the bird after supper? And if your count beats 12, I want to hear how, because I learn as much from you all as you do from me. Next week, I'm doing the same arithmetic on a pot of dried beans, the $2 bag that outfeeds $20 of cans, and the 3 things people get wrong that made everybody give up on them. It goes hand in hand with today's stock, so come back for it. 1 bird, 12 meals. It's not a trick. It's just the whole chicken, used whole, the way it always was. I'll see you next time.